Hello, everybody.
Hello and welcome to Delight and Fright. Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween, Luna.
Happy Halloween, Kat, and happy Halloween to our fantastic viewers. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling extra pika pika. You want to see the full
Oh,
silliness of
oh,
my costume?
I love
Is
it.
my tail wiggling? Yeah,
Yes.
it's
I,
electric.
I gotta throw a Pokeball at you now.
Yes, yes, you got to try to capture me. Here you go. There you go.
Yes. My costume is not as creative as yours. I'm just
It's definitely sexier.
touch my pentagram chest.
Mm. Oh.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for showing us your fantastic, awesome costume.
And my little village back here.
Oh yeah, the Halloween Village. We are so in love with that. Thank you so much for sharing. So we've been a little bit on a hiatus. Last month has been more than difficult to say the least. I was without power once because of the hurricane, the first hurricane, Helene, and then some damage to the property. And then second hurricane, I actually left because I'm like, no, I'm too close to the ocean. So I actually left to Pensacola, and there's no gas down here to get back down safely, and I didn't have power or water, pretty much anything. So I waited about 2 weeks. I stayed holed up in Pensacola for about 2 weeks, and then I made my transition down. And I actually did not have internet up until yesterday. So this is our my first show back with internet, and it feels great to have power, water, internet. So that's why we've been on a little bit of a hiatus the last month. Kat, how did you fare through all this craziness that happened last month?
Well, the first storm lost power for about 24 hours, and then the second storm, we shuttered up everything and then evacuated because I'm like, I don't want to relive Andrew. If the shit goes, I don't want to see it. I'll just come back and see what's left, start the insurance claim, whatever the hell. But I don't want to go through it in the midst of it again. And so we went farther up north, and they lost power for about a day, and then luckily we came home and we didn't lose power, nothing was damaged, so we were really fortunate and very lucky. But also before the storm started, I had some issues. I had an upper respiratory infection that caused me to cough so vigorously that I cracked 3 ribs. Yeah, this shit could happen. It sucked. Like it months. Like I was in pain and misery, and now I can actually, talk. I can breathe. I can sing. It's great. So we're happy to be back to celebrate this awesome Halloween with you guys.
Yes, we love Halloween here, and who doesn't love Halloween? It's great fun. Today we have a fantastic show lined up for you. We're doing a review of a 2007 movie called 1408. Yay!
So this movie is from 2007.
2007.
It's yeah, it's horror fantasy for Luna's favorite genre, mystery as well. Director Mikkel Hofstrom. I may be pronouncing that terribly, but I'm doing my best. And starring John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, and Tony Shalhoub, which I love, Mr. Monk.
Yes.
So without further ado, let's get into it after we see our preview so you guys can kind of get an idea of what you're in for.
Oh, yes, I have the preview ready to go. So let's go ahead and do it now. Doing it live. There it goes.
You're not going anywhere. You're staying right here with us.
Daddy, everyone dies.
Mike Enslin lost his daughter, the afterlife became his obsession.
You probably want to hear all about our haunt history.
But after years of searching, he no longer believes.
So you're saying there's no such thing as ghosts?
I'm saying I've never seen one. Nothing would make me happier than to experience a paranormal event.
Gerald Olin, manager of the Dolphin.
If I can just get the key to 1408.
In the 95 years of the hotel's existence, there have been 56 deaths in 1408.
56.
No one's ever lasted more than an hour. The first victims to Kevin O'Malley.
Cut his own throat.
Do not stay in that room.
Oh, man. Yeah.
This is it. Hotel rooms are a naturally creepy place. It does have the vague air of menace.
Nobody lasts more than an hour.
You're gonna have to try harder, Olin! It's not that what I'm seeing is not real. It just ain't as real as it seems. Holy.
Get a hold of yourself.
O'Malley.
Story by Stephen King.
Did you call the cops?
They're in 1408. The room's empty.
I'm gonna die.
I warned you about 1408.
Daddy? Don't you love me anymore?
1408. Directed by Michael Hofstrom.
Ooh.
All right. I'm excited to get into it with you, Luna.
Yes.
So this is based on a Stephen King short story. What did you think? First impressions, Luna.
So first impression was I had to take a break actually from it. I watched it halfway through and then I had to take a break. The feeling of him being trapped in this hotel room, it just kind of freaked me the hell out, and there was no way for him to escape. So yes, it was very scary for me. Yeah, I don't know. It was just really scary. And he tried to do a few things, and it was not, none of it seemed to be working. It just seemed to get worse and worse. But he was warned, and they're like, "Hey, you can take pictures of this other room. It looks just like it for your book." And nobody has to be in trouble or in danger, and he just wanted the real deal, and he was chasing that next book. And yeah, what about you? What was your first impression? My first impression was it was just, it kind of gave me it was kind of making me claustrophobic.
Yeah, it definitely has that feeling. At first, I knew there was more to the character, more to John Cusack's character than they were kind of letting in. And I love the interaction with him and Samuel L. Jackson. You can tell he legitimately wants to help him, wants what's best for him. And we find out that there's been 22 natural deaths at the hotel, equaling 56 deaths. So the 22 natural deaths, as they call them, are actual, not natural, but that's just the only way they could explain them, like heart attacks, stroke, and even drowning. Like that's really weird, right? In a hotel room.
Yeah.
But I love when he's doing his book signing, and the guy's like, so where can my best chance to see an actual ghost? He's like, Haunted Mansion, Orlando. And those of us who live, in Florida, we know that's a ride at a theme park. So I thought that was pretty funny. But then Samuel L. Jackson like tries to like entice him, here, have this great liquor, take it. Here's all the information we have, everything. Here, take that. Just don't freaking stay in the room. And he's like, I'm still staying. And then Samuel's like, damn it to hell. I was like, yes, yes, you gotta have the traditional Samuel L. Cursing just only the way that he can, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if there would have been anything that would have stopped him from actually going to this room. I was super hoping, spoiler alert, but I was super hoping that he would be able to make it out in the end because he just had that like survivor. You were rooting for him, even though he wasn't a great guy. But you know, he had some like grief that he kind of pushed down, and so he was still grieving. He was still grieving not only the loss of his daughter, but it looks like the loss of his relationship with his estranged wife or ex-wife. I don't know if they officially got a divorce, but
No,
he
he
was
just dipped.
he just did.
He just bounced. He was just like,
Yeah, so there's he's mourning the estranged relationship, and he's also mourning the loss of his daughter, and that's kind of a lot. So I don't know if anything would have like prevented him from staying in the room, but I was really rooting for him. I'm like, somebody get this man out, get him help, get him counseling, and maybe he'll be okay. But yeah,
yeah,
he was definitely not okay.
no, no. Well, there are actually 4 different endings to this movie.
Yeah.
The one that we watched is the director's cut. This is the ending that we saw as the original ending that the director wanted for the film, yet it tested poorly because audiences, they didn't want to see him, meet his end the way that he did.
Yeah.
So they did change it a little bit. There's actually 4 different variations of it.
Oh. What are what
so
are the
so
other
there
variations?
one that he survives, and like the firemen show up and drag him out of the room and he's still alive. And then there's one where the wife hears the daughter's voice, and he convinces his wife that it's all real, everything that happened. And then there's one where his wife doesn't believe anything that happened. And he's the one listening to his recording later by himself. Him and his wife don't reconcile. And then there's an ending where his wife takes the box from Samuel L. Jackson, and listens to it. So there's 2 versions where he dies and 2 versions where he lives. One in which he reconciles with his wife, and one that he doesn't. So those
Okay.
are the 4 different ones. So in the theater, I saw the one where the firemen show up and kind of bust him out. So I was expecting that ending, and then it was very different, this ending. But it made more sense, because if you look at it, I have my history of hell here. If you look at it like a Dante's Inferno, which is kind of, what everything was gearing towards, it shows you. Where am I? I know I marked you. Okay. So Dante's Inferno these are the different layers into hell, and these are the things that he experienced.
Mhm.
So the first level was limbo. That's when
Yeah.
he was kind of in between, when he had his surfing accident, and they weren't sure. He wasn't sure. We weren't sure if he made it or not. And then lustful. Remember, he's going through the television
Yeah.
and he sees the porn channel, and I was like, what was that all about? But it kind of
Kind of
follows
hovering.
everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of like,
And then gluttonous is when he's just drinking and drinking and just like, I'm just gonna get drunk and to hell with it. And then we have wrath, and then things get violent, and then there's the rivers. There's 3 different rivers. That's where the water comes into play, where and then there's different levels that he's kind of sinking down into. And I was like, what was with the ship? And apparently I found this, which is pretty much like the one that was on his wall. We have the ship in the water, and
Oh
it's
yeah, the
based
ship.
on Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Basically, in the river is in the water is thousands of slimy things and hostile spirits, and the ship is being manned by death. So that's definitely where that portion came from. I'm not sure where the other 2 paintings, but I know they have some sort of significance. The hunt with the dogs, and then we have the mom with the baby in the back. I think that was more like, the Mother Mary, she's in the back with the baby, or maybe his wife with his daughter it could symbolize. And then we have like an old lady, right, and 3 kids that are just
Yeah.
like with not happy faces. They didn't look very happy.
No, not at all.
But yeah, it was basically his descent into purgatory, and he didn't make it out, but he did learn some things, I think.
What do you think
Do
he
you think he
learned?
learned? Well, he learned that he was wrong
Yeah.
to blame his wife for the death of his kid. I mean, he was just like, we shouldn't have bothered with religion, and wasted time with stories. And the mom was like, well, she enjoyed the stories. You don't want a kid to be facing death thinking that's it. You're dead
Mhm.
and that's it. You want to give the child some sort of hope. And
Yeah.
he felt, I guess, that they quit fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. I he was such a what the dynamic that I liked was he was such a like he seemed like such an atheist, like does not believe in ghosts, does not believe in God, does not believe in anything, and he's going through this grief process with no belief system. But his perception of what is and what isn't was kind of shattered when he's like, nah, I don't believe in anything, nothing's real. Samuel L. Jackson is crazy. He just wants to, fake it to try to sell it for a higher price. When no, he was just trying to make sure he didn't have another death on his hands, but he just didn't care about that. So to me, it was a way of building a character that has no beliefs, no ties to um, any sort of like deity, or he doesn't believe in magic. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy to, if unless there's like hard evidence, he's not going to believe it. And even then, when the evidence was there, he's still like, oh, it's this guy trying to play a trick on me, or oh, what a great turn down service. And it's like, nobody's been in that room, dude. Nobody wants to even touch the room. And I think, to me, the saddest death was not necessarily his, but the lady that didn't want to go, that she just came from another country, and she went into the room to clean because it was her job, but she was only in there for seconds and died. And that's really, really sad, because to me, she's a hard worker, and the housekeeping people get fucking shit on. They get shit on hard. And the fact that she died, when she wasn't even wanting to go in from the sounds of it, but she went in because it was her obligation to, she has a family to feed and stuff, and still ended up dying. And that was really sad for
Well,
me, because
she
I'm like,
didn't
man.
die. She was just blinded. I
Oh,
know,
yeah, that
I
was
know
the
that sucks. She took scissors and gouged her eyes out, but she's
But
still
she
alive.
was, yeah, she was only in there for a few seconds, right?
Yeah.
And
She went to clean the bathroom, and the door shut on her and locked her in, and they couldn't get
yeah,
her out.
yeah,
But
that,
as we know, time works differently in that room.
Dude,
Yeah.
what the fuck was going on in that
Yeah,
room?
he wrote a book. He freaking, I'm like, damn, I wish I could do shit like that in my dreams or whatever. And it wasn't a dream. It was a level of hell apparently where time works very differently. I think it
Yeah.
seems like each level he got deeper, time slowed down even more. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. And with the crazy thing about it for me personally is how hard he was trying to get out of this room, and every little thing that he tried was just not happening, you know?
Mhm.
So I don't know what the hell is going on, but what do you suspect was in that room that caused it like so much violence? Like was that like a demonic thing, or what's up, do you think?
I don't know. I'll go with Samuel L. Jackson. It's just an evil fucking room. Like because it started from the minute it was built, the minute it was made. So it wasn't like something bad happened there. It's like
Yeah.
from the very beginning. And we know it's on the 13th floor. And I don't know, maybe the coincidence of the number or something. It just chose that room and was like, "Oh, this is a nice room. I'm going to use it to fuck with people for all time." And even Samuel L. Jackson expressed that he wished he could just wall it up, just be done with it, but they would not let him.
They wouldn't
Um,
let him.
exactly.
Ugh. But why? Who didn't let him?
I don't know. Whoever owned the
Mm,
hotel, but he was very happy with what Cusack decided to do in the end
yeah.
because the room's done now.
Mm,
Would you have
yeah.
climbed out the window? I was like, no, that was risky. Climbing out the window, like when you know there were so many jumpers, and like the thing's like this narrow.
So
Like,
homeboy was did not listen to instructions very well, because the lady, before checking into that room, they told him, all right, you're gonna have to lock it from the inside. She gave specific instructions. This is how you lock it, whatever. And I don't think he followed that very well, because he fucking broke the key half-ass. He didn't lock it properly, and I'm like, and
I
why would
don't think
you?
it would have mattered.
You don't
I
think it would
think
have mattered?
it would have kept him in there no matter what.
Yeah.
Once it kind of got a hold of him, nah. And his publisher Tony Shalhoub's found a lawyer that said by law they can't deny him to stay in that room,
Yeah.
so they were threatening to sue, and can't have that. And Samuel L. Jackson, he's just a manager. He works for the owners of the hotel, and they don't want to get sued, so he has to let him in the room.
God damn it. It's always people that want to sue, right?
Yeah.
It's always the people that want to sue that's like the problem. I don't know what the fuck was up with him, and that, like, he couldn't have been happy at all, like, just pretending, like, I don't know. It's just, if someone's like dead set on, like, dude, you cannot be here, what's up? Like, why not? Let's talk about it.
And who wrote the postcard? That's what I'm wondering. Who sent him the postcard that said,
That
"Do
lady,
not"?
that lady at the book signing.
You think?
Yes, the one that came up to him and randomly started talking and brought an old book. Oh, are you gonna write anything like this soon? Like,
You think? I don't think so.
I suspected her from the beginning. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, you're
she
like this
looks
bitch.
she look at that look in her eye. She looks mischievous. Like, she looks like she's a demonic fucking possessed lady.
Well,
I
he
don't know.
definitely lied to her when she
He
asked
did.
if it had anything to do with your dad. Or
Yeah.
so I believe the long road home is a story about him and his father because they were not on very good terms.
Yeah.
But by the end of the end of his voyage through hell, he kind of reconciles with his dad.
Yeah, that was one thing that was kind of nice. He was trying so hard to fix everything that he had done wrong and trying to redeem himself. He went about it the wrong way though. He should have, but in hindsight, everything could have happened. It's just I don't know what could have happened different. What do you think would have happened different if he wouldn't have stayed in the room? If he would have been like, you know what, you're right. Just upgrade me to the suite, and we'll take pictures of that other room. Do you think? Do you think somehow that room would have lured him in still, or
No, I think he would have just went about his life and proving everything wrong. But I think he really wanted to believe in something. That's why nobody could have convinced him to not stay in that room
yeah, you
because
think
he,
so?
he wanted proof. He wanted to know that his daughter was somewhere in
Hmm.
existence, even though she was dead.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how I took that aspect of it. But it was kind of hard to see him go through all the different layers, like you were saying. Like it kind of did give me Dante's Inferno vibes. And what was interesting was the first time when he woke up, it was in the hospital, and it's like, yeah, you had an accident, and I'm like, oh, this whole time that hotel was fake because it was just him in a coma or something. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, dude's in a coma, we're good. And then as soon as she showed up to the post office and like, I need you guys to mail this out ASAP, and then they're like, no, and then they started breaking the room, and I'm like, oh damn it, he's actually stuck. But at that point, I did have that glimmer of hope that he was going to get out. And unfortunately, that didn't go well for him. It was definitely not a hallucination or a dream or it was just the room being weird. And I don't know what was up with that room though.
It was definitely suspect. I was like, nah, it doesn't seem right.
Yeah. I'm just a hardcore like believer in like resolutions. Like even in horror movies, when okay, it's a horror movie, it's obviously not going to end well. I'm always like, but maybe there's a chance.
Well, I mean, I think there was still resolutions, but just
In a
not in the
different
way that we would hope. He got his resolution. He got to stay with his daughter. He ended up defeating the room because he burned it down because it was going to take his wife too. It was happy to have her come in looking for him and snatch her ass too. And he was like, no, this ain't happening. He finally manned up and was like, no, I'm going to take charge. I'm going to take responsibility for something and make sure this does not happen to her. So
Yeah.
I thought he did the right thing in the end, I think.
You think so? I I think so too, in a way, because the wife was innocent. She did nothing wrong. The only thing that she did wrong was having a daughter that freaking died, and that's not her issue. That's not something that she fucked up on. It was just kind of like life happened, and these unfortunate circumstances were put into their life, and now she's at risk. And it was honorable that he's like, fuck it. He knew, like, he reached a level, because at first he was trying to get away, trying to get away, trying to get away, trying to escape. And eventually he's like, yeah, I'm not getting out of here. So he just drank like a little bit more, and then they're left over. He did that Molotov cocktail and then started having a cigarette, like, yeah, this is how it's gonna end. And that was
I
just
don't know if I would have believed that the fire was real because he was like, "This is fire," and I know this is real. I'm like, "All right, dude." It's like I don't know how he knew, but he was right. Apparently, the fire was real.
Yes, the fire was very real. The fire was so real that it definitely took him out, and not on a pleasant lunch either. But what was your favorite part of this movie?
Um, there was a lot. It was the when the wall started cracking and like bleeding and stuff. I'm like,
What the fuck?
that's weird. And
Yeah.
then the zombie up in the crawl space. I was like, and then there's rats, and I'm like, no. Or there were some roaches too. I'm like, no, no, I'm done. No.
Not the
Woo.
roaches. Not the roaches. Anything but the roaches. And then what was up with that dude in the crawl space? Like, who was that? One of the people that died in the room and just like his ghost just went up there.
I don't know. Maybe someone that tried to get out the way he did, and I don't know, the room just decided to make him a boogeyman up there. I don't know.
You will protect this space from having intruders leave.
But it was
But
definitely
it's
interesting.
so interesting how they cleaned the room. It was only once a month and doors wide open, and he said, "This is as far as I go." Samuel L.
And it
Jackson's
was
character.
10-minute shifts. They acted like the room was a nuclear situation. 10 minutes was max. I love the guy that came to help him fix the AC. He just stood at the doorway. He's like, "You can do it." He's like, "It's simple. Anyone can do it. just tap it." And then when the time he's like, "Oh yeah, it's working." Dude's gone. I'm like, he's gone. Sure enough. Bye.
Yeah, that would have been a good sign for me to like leave if the maintenance dude doesn't refuses to come in to fix my AC unit. That's a good sign that, you know what, AC's busted. The AC guy doesn't want to come in here. Fuck it. We'll go to a different room because I need my AC.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would have been my cue to bounce the fuck out. At what if you were in the situation? At what point would you be like, "Yeah, I'm done," before shit got too real?
Once I heard everything that the things that Samuel L. Jackson was saying, I and being that there's no, because you know how people love to glamorize if there's actual paranormal activity and things like that, but knowing
Mm-hmm.
that there's nothing about this room except for the
Mm-hmm.
terrible things that have happened there. You know what I mean? There's no investigations that have been done. I'd be like, okay, there has to be a reason for this, and I'd probably leave well enough alone. But um, I'm not sure if I would, if I felt something was off, I wouldn't. Like it's more about a feeling for me, at least when I've been, had spirits and things, like I could feel them around me, like I could feel the difference. And I'm sure a room like that, if I got close to it, I would feel something and I'd be like, no, no, it's okay. You know what I mean?
You can have it.
No. Thank you. I'll take the suite, the penthouse suite. Yeah, let's party.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Growing up in a so when I was young, there was my parents and I needed a place to live because we had just come from Mexico and we were crashing with my aunt and uncle until we found an apartment. So it was a lot of people for one little 2 bedroom apartment, and so we were trying to get out of there so that way we can have our own space, and then my aunt and uncle could have their space back and stuff. So we saw this apartment for sale. It was super cheap, first month of rent for free, everything, and we're like, oh fuck, this is our golden ticket. So the reason why they were renting it and having a rent special for like $500 at the time for a 2 bedroom apartment, which is like unheard of even for 1999, was because somebody had died in the bathtub. They drowned in the bathtub, and then we moved like a month later. So we still saw a lot of activity from that. And as a child, that going through that, that was very traumatic. So as soon as there's any like ghost stuff coming up, I'm like, nope. Like we had everything. We had like my uncle that's a priest. He had to come and like bless the house because the activity started getting like really intense. So we even had a freaking Catholic priest come and bless the house. Like
Wow.
that's how bad it was. And for a child, that's very traumatic actually. So any ghost stuff just kind of freaks me out because it's like a lot of people have lived these things and it can be very real and very triggering sometimes. So with ghost stuff, like even though I love ghost hunting and even though I love the adrenaline of like, ooh, what's hiding behind the shadows, you still have a sense of caution, because it's like you've kind of experienced some stuff yourself and it can be very scary. Do you have any ghost stories of your own?
Yeah, I just when my grandfather passed, we um we were living in like a one bedroom apartment like for years. I must have been like almost 10 years. Like we grew up in this apartment. It was literally like the bedroom was just like mom and dad's bed, my brother's bed, my bed, like bathroom. Like that was it. It was like you could jump and like, yay, have a good time hopping from bed to bed to bed. And then we finally got a place to rent, like a 3 bedroom legit house. I had a room and my brother and my dad really wanted to show my grandfather the house, but sadly he passed away unexpectedly. I never got to see the house. So my mom's best friend, she used to do a lot of tarot and things like that. So she was very spiritual and would pick up on things. She went to the house one time and she had to like she walked in and then she had to walk away. And then my mom was like, "What was that all about? What happened?" And she described my grandfather to the T, having never seen him before, never seeing a picture of him, anything. And one time I was in my room with my friends and we were having like a slumber party and my door was shut and my bedroom door just opened, just like out of nowhere. Nobody else was out there. Nobody else was awake.
Wow, that's scary.
And I was just like, okay, but I didn't feel anything bad. So I believe it was my grandfather just checking on things, making sure I was okay. So I wasn't scared. Um, I felt it was a good presence.
Yeah.
And then later on I'd go ghost hunting and things like that. And we went to this lighthouse in I always get the name mixed up. Um, hmm? What high? Do you remember? Oh, St. Augustine. That's where the lighthouse is, and they've had it features on ghost hunters and things like that. And as we were walking up the long staircase, like I felt something following me. Like I could feel the coldness of it. I
Ooh.
could feel the presence like following me the entire time up, and then we came back down. And then after the tour, everybody's looking around the gardens and things like that. Nobody was in the lighthouse, and they had a light that they always had on. And then I was looking, and the light went off, and then the light went back on, like something walked in front of it.
Ooh.
And we go back up, thinking maybe somebody went back in. Nobody. Nobody's there. So I don't know. The spirit that followed me around, maybe that was his way of saying like bye. I don't know. Like,
Ooh.
yeah,
I know.
what you felt was right. Bye.
I know you can sense me, so I'm just gonna let you know, confirm that you did sense the correct thing, and then I'm gonna head out.
Mhm. But
That's
yeah, it was pretty intense. I think if I would have felt anything stronger, I would have been like done. Like I'm
yeah.
out of here. I don't want things following me. I'm always try to be very respectful. of things like that, so that I don't get any bad juju, and then nothing comes home with me. If there's any altars or things like that that are made, no matter what religion or belief, that's
That's
their thing.
sacred.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mess with that. It's like I'm not touching that. That's cool. I'll look at it. I'll appreciate it, for what it's worth. But no, I'm not gonna play games. That's why I don't own a Ouija board. I don't own even earrings with a Ouija board or anything like that. I'm like, no, 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 no. That was the one thing that my mom was like, no, because one time her and her friends were playing with the Ouija board, and shit went down. So she was just like,
She's just traumatized.
yeah, they were summoning Abraham Lincoln. I don't know why, but yeah, they were playing with the Ouija board, and it spelt out Abraham Lincoln, and then this limousine. And this is like in Indiana, like in rural area, like not a fancy area at all, like in the middle of nowhere. A black limo pulls up, and they saw a figure in the limo, a tall figure, and then the limo takes off, and they were like, nope. My mom was like, after that, she was like, nope, nope, I don't want it in my house. No. So I've just kept rolling with that, and I've been good so far. So
Good. Good. Yeah. I got a Ouija board. One of my friends in high school gave me a Ouija board because she knew I was like the goth kid and the weirdo, and I got one for I don't know, like Christmas or something, my junior year in high school. And um yeah, they made the hauntings at my place worse. So I had to give it away. You can't throw it out. And there's like all this weird stuff with them. Like you can't throw it out, you can't burn it, you can't, all this stuff. You have to like cut it in 7 pieces, douse it in holy water, and like a bunch of shit that
wow.
you have to do to get rid of it. And then or you can gift it to somebody and they have to willingly take it from you, and then it'll never come back to you. But yeah, that's what I did, because apparently, I don't know, me and my friends were fucking with it and we didn't close it right, because you're supposed to like shut it down, salt it, and do all this ritualistic stuff. And I didn't follow that protocol. I don't think I did. I was 17, whatever. And shit started going really wrong in the house. Like we started hearing more footsteps and more
Mm.
activity. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of this because I think it's still open. It
Yeah. See, that sounds like a lot of work.
is a lot of work.
to like to
It's
do it
like
to do it right in the first place, and then to like get rid of it when things go bad.
it's like having a house party and you're expected to pay for everything, and then like there's like 200 people that could come in, and then when you tell everybody to leave, you got to do the walkthrough to make sure everybody's actually gone. You gotta, like, there's like so much stuff that you have to do to actually make sure like the party's gone, we're shutting it down, nobody has your address to come
So
back and
so
visit
so wait.
later.
So you did a drag me to hell. You gave someone that Ouija board and wished them luck.
Yes. And at this time, I don't remember who has the Ouija board now, but I was like, "Oh, would you like a Ouija board? It may be haunted, but it's fun. Yeah, sure, I'll take it. Okay, not my problem now."
You don't even remember who it is. You
No,
haven't even checked in on this person. Jesus, H.P. Lovecraft.
no, they're probably goner. Sorry, person.
Sorry.
Sorry, mysterious person from high school that I made by not having you a cursed Ouija board.
Oh no.
But through the power of friendship, you have saved me, and I'm forever grateful for that. So thank you.
So where are these books on like how to like prepare the Ouija board? Because I'm sure the game does not come with
No.
these.
So Ouija boards actually come from Celtic what is it called? Folklore, right?
Folklore. Yeah.
Folklore.
What was
Yeah.
it? Full, yeah. Now you
I
got
can
me
just
doing.
say it. Oh, god damn it. You know, the stories like olden tales. So pretty much
Olden days.
olden days, yes. The Celtic definitely invented Ouija's to connect with their loved ones from the other side, and then they're the ones that, you know, did all the how to open it, how to close it, use silver actually to cleanse it, salt, all that fun stuff. So they're the ones to prepared because it wasn't a game. Like Milton and Bradley
No.
fucking made it a game, but it's not a game. This is something that people, witches, use. Actually, it's a tool to communicate with the other side. It's a communication tool, and communicating
And
with the other
you're
side is
opening a
dangerous.
door, aren't you? It's an
Yes, you are.
invitation.
It
You're
is.
opening a doorway to the other side and being, hey, anybody want to chat?
Yeah. We got Chat
And they're like,
GPT.
oh, this dumb bitch.
Oh, there's all this savory energy that we can take from this bitch. Yes.
Teenagers.
Yes. No, Milton Bradley did not include instructions and just ripped off the Ouija board from the Celtic and from actual witches.
That's probably how Milton Bradley got all their money.
Yeah, witchcraft.
Sacrificing teenagers. Yeah.
And witchcraft, yeah. That makes sense now. Those corporations.
That's why they're still around, man.
Yes.
How
Mhm.
many witches did they burn? Bastards.
Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
But
Stole
yeah,
their Ouija boards. It was like, I'm gonna make some money.
how can we make some money and kill some teenagers? Ouija board.
Yeah, all those witches we burned. Let's just let them get rid of these stupid teenagers.
Yeah, we'll replicate the tools that the witches had, and then we'll give it to teenagers, and then watch the world burn. Yeah, that's
Yes,
great, Milton Bradley. Thank you so much for providing us with. Oh, and they even have a glow in the dark Ouija board
Oh, of course.
for when
Yes.
you're feeling extra edgy and wanting to play it at night. Yeah, no.
You got to see in the cemeteries, when you're Ouijaing on
Mhm.
Halloween night.
Or in the bathroom before doing Bloody Mary to the to the dark bathroom. No, yeah, teenagers have not are not known to be smart, and it's definitely a tool. It's definitely a tool, and you need to know how to use it if you are going to use it. So protection, folks. You got those tools. Know how to use them and how to be safe.
Yes, protect
And that,
yourself or you wreck yourself.
yes, this applies to sex also.
Yes.
Protect your tools, ladies and gentlemen. You only have one tool. Protect it. So this Halloween, that is. I think that's what we're gonna leave you with.
Yes.
Protect your tools and don't use Ouija boards.
Yeah, don't play games with the dead. Don't play games with the dead. If you invite them, you're gonna have to house them, feed them, send them to college. You know what I mean? This is a big make believe. This is a playtime. This is for real. They're gonna want things. They're gonna want stuff from you. So if you're not gonna pay out, then don't invite them.
Yeah. If you're not ready for the financial hardships of housing another entity, don't do it.
No.
All right. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add, Miss Cat?
No, just happy Halloween, and I'm glad you enjoyed this movie, and I'm glad I watched it again. I hadn't seen it probably since it came out back in the OOs.
Yeah. That's scary even saying that. Oh yeah. Back in 2007, it's like, oh god, that's like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Scary. It's approaching 20 years in a few years actually.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I don't want to think about that.
That's right. The time will come for you, Luna. It'll come for us all.
It does, yes. And the room.
Even the little girl knew. in the movie, the little girl, she's like, death is,
it's gonna happen
happens
to all. And I'm like,
happens to us all.
That's fucking morbid, kid. Coming from a snot-nosed 10-year-old that doesn't even know how to wipe their own ass. Yeah, thanks. That's great advice. Little love child. Bundle of joy, isn't it?
Yeah. I
But
always knew that. I always knew death was coming.
yeah, death is coming to room 1408. So do not stay in that room if you go to the Dolphin Hotel. Stay safe and have a wonderful, happy Halloween.
And what do we have for them next week, Luna?
Oh, yes. Next week, we're going to do a recommendation by Miss Cat. And it's the movie called
Willard.
Willard.
With my favorite actor of all time, Crispin Hellion Glover. Those of you who are like, who? He's the guy from Back to the Future, the dad. Yeah, hot daddy-o. That was like, you're my density. Him. Yes, I love him. And it's the weird guy from Charlie's Angels that like rips their hair and is like, him. Yeah.
Yes. So next week,
people are only watching like major movies. That's all they'll know him from.
Yeah. So yeah, next week we have that lined up. Maybe some special guests. We're working with some underground people in the indie community, but you know, we have to arrange these things. And since I barely got internet back up yesterday, we're still working towards that. So just bear with us as we get everything rolling back. But we should be back live at if not every week, every other week, depending on our schedules. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. And happy
Halloween.
Bye.
Stay away from Ouija boards. Bye.
Bye. Stay away from Ouija boards. Protect your tools. Use
Yes.
condoms. Bye.
Use condoms.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.